So today I'm in western Vermont. Decided this morning just to take a hike up to a place that I've wanted to go to for a long time. It's called White Rocks. I'm gonna hike down to the view here, and then I think I'm gonna drop off the back again like I did last time. And or maybe there's a couple high elevation wetlands out here that don't have any observations on iNaturalist. So I'm gonna take a look at those. They're right along the AT, just off of it. So I'm gonna try to get to those today, but no preconceived notion about what I might find. Just out here roaming around, and we're probably gonna see cool plants. Thanks for tuning in. I'm at the top of something. This is not what I thought it was going to look like. I thought I was going to be sitting on this scree pile I'm going to show you down below. So I think I'm going to stick to the original plan, go up the AT, and then hit those little high elevation wetlands. This is like 2,300 feet, something like that. But look at this pile of rocks down here. Here's the view. There's a cliff in front of me. I'm going to try not to die. But down there, huge scree pile. That's why they call it White Rocks. Ooh, there's a cool formation there too. So I'm actually gonna try to go down that way on the way out, I think. I can figure out how to get back to where I parked and not get lost. But this place, you know, red spruce, starting to put out cones. High elevations, there's probably a heartleaf paper birch. Oh, it's super sticky. Smells delicious though. Blueberries. Yeah, mostly evergreen forest. Really low biodiversity up here, just because it's so harsh. So I'm on the 18 now. I kind of dropped down out of that alpine area into a more northern hardwood forest, which is a little more exciting for me. Hopefully we find some rich plants in here pretty soon, but I'm gonna be dipping off. At least the way the terrain looks right now, I might be able to go down the mountain that side and then meet up with this thing called Chaos Canyon. I don't know what I think that's that white rock we could see from the top of the mountain. I think the canyon runs right through there, but supposedly there's a trail there, so I'm gonna try to intersect that instead of breaking my first rule of not going back the same way I came out here. So we'll check in a bit. So I'm just taking a little break here. It looks like it's another half mile to where my goal was. I'll show you a photo of what I was like looking at in terms of that elevated wetland. And there's actually two on either side of the ridge. So I might go check out the one on the southwest ridge first, and then come back up over and go down the other side. And then I think I'm not gonna wanna come back up, so I'm probably gonna try to just bushwhack through and hit that Chaos Canyon trail. I hope it's not as steep as it was the other day. That was pretty harsh, but it's a different forest type, so might be better. Look at the moss understory in here. It's just like, it's thick. It's always kind of creepy coming across stuff like this in the middle of the woods. Some Blair Witch type thing. Well, I'm bushwhacking through the woods right now too. This is where I am, and this is where supposedly it's telling me that there's that opening out in front of me. I don't see it. This is what that view looks like from me. Maybe there's an opening there. Maybe that's it. It looks pretty big though. I'll be surprised when I get there. So I've come down about 200 feet from 25. So I'm at like 2,300 feet right here. So it's gonna be a high elevation, hopefully some kind of cool wetland. We'll see. You can see it now. It's that sunlight coming through the trees far out there. That's the edge. Well, we made it. There's Rhododendron prinophyllum in bloom. I could smell these coming down the hill before I even saw them. Purple pitcher plant in bloom right now. They kind of have these like really strange flowers. There's like a disc in here, and then all the reproductive parts are like behind it. You can see all the anthers in there. So the bumblebee or whatever pollinates this has to go behind this and then fight to get out, so it gets covered. And these pictures are kind of hidden. They're down there. They're just small. There's a bigger one back there. So kind of a cool little different looking spot than the rest of it. Found an interesting carrick species. The key is acting weird on that one, so I'm gonna take a sample and key it out later. But it just looks different than anything else I've ever seen. I'll put some photos up. But the weather looks kind of gnarly, or it's gonna change soon. I'm gonna start heading back up over the ridge and try to go down through that Chaos Canyon. Iris versicolor, blue iris, native. Oh, look at the, wow. Just came over the ridge line. I'm trying to go down, I'm gonna try to go down and hit that first little wetland, this one, and then skirt the upper side of it and then hit this, it's called Ice Beds Trail down at the base. Maybe we can get there. But the first thing I noticed about the difference between that side and this side is that this Carex intumescens is way more developed than it was on the other side. These weren't even worth showing you on the other side, but here they're pretty big. Almost spherical. This long staminate part comes up above it. But these grow in wetlands, and they grow in like, this is like an upland, you know, this is like just over the tip of the ridge. But these ones are pretty big. Here, this wetland is very different. It's almost like there's beaver activity here is like turning a forest into a wetland. Like even all this hobble bush kind of like growing out in the periphery of the wet area, or what is wet now. This is where like two little streams come in. Huh. It's pretty weird. We'll see what's here and then we'll start heading down. I think we're gonna drop off like over that way. Really common woodland plant in New England. This is Oxalis montana. Really pretty pink and yellow blooms. And then those clover shaped leaves. I guess you can eat this. It's kind of tastes like a little sour. Sometimes this is called sorrel, like wood sorrel. It is pretty zesty, but kind of good. It's not bad. Up until right now, it hasn't been bad. It just looks like it gets pretty steep out in front of me. I think I can do it. Let's see. But look, it's pretty straight down. But I think we can make it down there. It looks like it flattens out at the bottom. So, but the topo lines are like right next to each other. Kind of get a sense of how steep this is from this. If you look out, you can maybe see like the other mountain across the way. So I'm like coming down into like this small little valley. But yeah, it's not as bad as it was at the other spot, but it's still pretty steep. Traction's a lot easier though. I'm still quite high. I'm coming to a particularly steep section. I feel like there's a cliff in here somewhere. I mean, it looks like it drops off right here. I might have to go back up. I might not be able to go down this way. My last shot to go down this way, which is the shorter way, is this little drainage that's coming up. If it's it's a seam between two mountains, so if it's passable, I'm gonna try to go down that way because there's probably not gonna be any like cliffs, but we'll see. You can see this drainage down here. I think I'm gonna try to jump on that and ride it all the way down. I think that's my best option at this point. Hopefully there's no waterfalls in there. Well, I said I hope there's not a waterfall, and there was. It's pretty cool looking though. I bet nobody even knows about this. So I made it down to the bottom. At least of this part. I still need to figure out that. But I was able to come around the waterfall this way and down, which is a lot better than that cliff. So look at this, pretty cool. We got 2 waterfalls now. So I usually don't run into people out in the woods because I'm off trail. But this guy was hiking on the AT portion and he told me something about these blue blazes. He said that, I was like, what are you doing out here? He's like, oh, I'm looking for treasure. And he's like, gold and other things and all this stuff. And I was like, okay. I thought he was kind of crazy at first. And then he said, I was like, what do you, like, how do you know about this? And he said there was a book published by John Collins Black that like outlines a treasure map and gives some clues. But for some reason he was like, oh, there's probably a lot of people out here looking for that today. And I was like, really? So he said it's a box and there's 5 of them across the country. He seems to think one is here, but I just came across these blue blazes and he said that the blue blazes was some sort of clue. So I'm actually heading into that Chaos Canyon right now. I'm on my way there. I found this trail. It looks like it's heading me in the right direction. So everything worked out okay. That talus was pretty treacherous walking down because there'd be like gaps in it. It was almost like walking on a glacier with, you know, holes underneath it. You just never knew when I was going to be safe or not. But I have to remember to keep my eyes open for a box. It's not buried, apparently. It sounds like that Forrest Finn type story about burying treasure and then telling people about it. But these also might just be like boundary markings. But that Chaos Canyon, he said something about the author talking about traveling with his grandmother. So this Chaos Canyon looks pretty cool, at least from above it looked pretty cool. So maybe that's a likely place to look for that. I'm not like looking for it totally, but if I see it, I'll change my life. Well, I believe I'm on that ice beds trail now. I think I went the wrong direction though, but it brought me to this. This is that big rock, like scree pile that we could see from the top. And I'm gonna see if I can show you where I was. Hold on. So I was way up there and I came off the other side and down, and now I'm at the base of this thing. The cool air coming out of here is kind of wild. It's like really cold, but these boulders are massive. Like, look at the size of that one. Well, that was a gnarly day. I just got back now. It's probably, I don't even know what time it is, but it's late. And yeah, that canyon trail wasn't really a canyon trail. It was like a ridge trail, and then it cut down the back side of it. So I didn't actually get to walk through the canyon, which was kind of sad. But I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun. Yeah, join me again next time. Hit the subscribe button. You know, do that thing. I'll see you later.